As we got deeper into the creation of optimal genetic pathways, I realized very quickly I'm going to have to present this to a dairyman. And as I started playing with it and griping at Greg and his design, we realized very, very fast that we wanted this to be as live as possible. We wanted it to be a tool that we can sit in a room with a dairyman on a computer and click and change the strategy in front of them to show results based off of their data, based off of their herd demographics at that time, based off of their conception rates with sexed, beef, embryos, conventional, you name it. We wanted it to be live. We were very, very happy with it once we got in front of some dairymen and got feedback from them. We seem to find that they enjoy that process as well, just like we do. And it's a real deep dive into not just the breeding strategy or genetics, but it's a deep dive into almost everything at their dairy, from are you having issues with calf mortality? Why is your cull rate so high? A number of different things. It's been amazing to us in the presentation process with dairymen what kind of questions come out of this. Because it's not always about bull. We actually probably don't even talk about what bulls they're using until the last 5 minutes. I mean, we really don't even get there. This is more how do we operate? We know we're going to use good genetics, so how do we place it and how do we operate to maximize our gains? I wanted to take everyone through this process of what does a presentation look like with optimal genetic pathways? How do we say it's live? Where I'm at here is on our main screen, and this is a screen we generally land on where we developed a strategy with dairymen. On this you'll see herd demographic breakouts with rankings. This herd example actually is pretty elaborate. They have 5 different herd rankings, and you see it's very descriptive of what they are, and even down into the heifer population as well. When we go through it, it's a very quick example here, but the letter S represents sex, the letter C represents conventional semen, the letter B represents beef semen, and the letter E represents embryos. Same thing down here on the heifer population. So as we do this strategy, ultimately the figure we're looking at is, are you creating the optimal amount of female replacements? This herd strategy wants to be above 100%. They want to have flexibility in what they can and can't do in the future with their heifer population. They want to be able to market some excess females if that is the case, because they believe that the market is going to come up with that. And they have a relatively low raising cost compared to other dairymen. So we flex this page based off of each individual dairyman's strategy. I'll show you just a quick example of if we make a change over here, what that does to this herd demographic. If we wanted to look at and say, hey, I want to make more females, where can I put more sex semen to do that? This herd, I guess my humble opinion, where I would guide them is in their virgin heifer population, they get great conception. So I would take this bottom 30% that they have ranked and go ahead and continue breeding them to sexed. So a simple change to sex semen there results in another 7% increase in animals created versus what they need. So that would be an easy way and an easy implementation at the farm level. If that's not enough for them, you can see here the affected changes if we went through and decided to go 3 services with sex semen in the entire virgin heifer population. And we very quickly went from 126% to 145% just by adding 1 extra service in the virgin heifer population. This customer is actually having great success with embryos. So they want to maximize the amount of embryos. Well, we already have our quadrants divided out, so there's really no need to create a new group. But what you could do is, once again, I want to increase my number of replacements. So I want to do that via more embryos. In this case, what I would recommend for this dairyman is let's take this down to 30% beef utilization in your milking herd, and let's look at 50%. What does that do? And very quickly you see that the changes there in this quarter would almost give us the same results as that change that we would have made here in the virgin heifer population. I love the ability for this tool to be a guide and an answer to many questions that dairymen have of, if I change this, what's going to happen? Or I'm having really good success with this type of product. Let's use more of it. So I wanted to go through that a little bit on this page to show you how live and how real this tool can be for the dairyman. And we look at this quarterly with dairymen. We sit down, we make plans, we look back at results, we adjust, and I'll show you where we go with that from here. As we look at changing the strategy over here on the left, I showed you earlier that obviously you watch the percentage of created versus needed box. We watch it change, but the other thing that we are very keen at looking at is, where are you getting your replacements from? Are you grabbing the greatest genetic potential out of your herd? And I believe that this herd strategy development is a prime example of capturing genetics from your greatest genetics. So they're very, very heavy laden on getting their female replacements from their virgin heifer population. So if you go rank this herd genetically, and this is a genomic tested herd, 90% of their virgin heifer population has greater merit, whether it's net merit, cheese merit, wherever you want to rank it, than almost all of the cow herds. So of the 582 sex semen pregnancies created, you see that right here is well over 400 of those calves are going to be coming from this genetic source. While at the same time, these embryos that are going in their lower ranking cows are even higher than virgin heifer parent average mating. So this herd's really, really turning the genetic wheel about as fast as you can get it going. And they're very, very proud to see that the results are also stabling off the number of freshenings that they have every month, stabling off and making a consistent number of heifer calves born each month, while also increasing beef revenue. One other area that I really love about our optimal genetic pathways and has really been kind of the guide to us doing this for customers is to look at the herd demographics by month. Do I have too many animals? Am I short? Do I not have enough to maintain herd size if I want to grow? What do I need to do? One might say that the easy answer, if I want to grow, is just use more sex semen, and that may be the case, but at the same time, we have found that many herds can actually use more sex semen and use beef and still be in growth mode and maximize revenue. So I want to take you through our graph page, and this is something, as we work with herds over the course of 2 years, we watch this and it helps guide us to look at changes. This herd's example, actually, if you look here in May of 2019 and June of 19, they have a very large eligible breeding population. Many virgin heifers are at their voluntary waiting period. They calved in a lot of animals in the previous couple months that are now coming into their voluntary waiting period window for breeding. So this enables us to look at this herd and say, hey, maybe we do need to use more beef semen right now. Or if this is a herd that markets cattle for dairy purpose, hey, we need to sell a couple of loads of cattle because we just have too many and we frankly don't need them. So this graph really plots that out for herds and gives us a future prediction of, are we close to it based off of our needs? And this is a very good example herd to go through this process with. As we go down, we also look at what is the current pregnancy population look like. Not just number of pregnancies, but broken down based off of sex semen, conventional semen, embryos. This shows us our current pregnancies within the population based on semen utilization. So the red bars will be pregnancies with sex semen, gray bars will be conventional semen, and the orange bars will be actual embryo pregnancies. The red line is the needs for that herd to maintain their levels within the herd. And you see that this is a very, very healthy strategy for this herd and very well balanced across the months with tremendous increase in embryo utilization based off of sheer success in that herd. This is a very, very good tool that we always come and look at of what did we do? What were the results of our plan 3 months ago, 6 months ago, and how is this tool working for us? To dig a little deeper into that, we also look at beef pregnancies in this bar versus dairy pregnancies in that same segment. So by month, you see the different color-coded bars here described up top. And this is a herd that we were able to really maximize the beef calves coming in, and also very much level off a lot of their pregnancies that are going to be resulting in dairy replacements. This tool is different with every herd that we look at. We try our best to maximize economic revenue on the offspring they're creating, but we learn very quickly that you have to have a strategy before you put semen in cows. Because if you just aimlessly use more sex semen and you don't put it in the right spots, you may not create your needs, or you may create too many. So this tool helps us to dial that in and to be able to go back and look at results as well and learn from mistakes, or if a dairy had a hiccup somewhere in reproduction or a rough month nutritionally. There's a number of things that obviously affect this. We always go back and we look at results and move forward based off of needs and where we want to go with the herd. We won't go into details of some of these other things, but as you see here, we also have other areas that we look at with dairymen. We look at semen cost. We look at the benefit of beef revenue versus dairy bull calf revenue. And we also look at, in this semen tab, the potential net if they want to go through a strategy of marketing dairy replacements. If they believe that they have a greater upside there, we put numbers in to show them their results based off of their creation process. And really, at the end of the day, we put them in models that maximize their efficiencies and maximize their revenue. And we also look at virgin heifer population cost, and then genetics and genetic data. We're getting into the areas where, just like you see in this herd, we are happy to help herds through our SMS program to rank. So if we want to do 5% high and 5% elite, we have the ability to use our SMS program and rank herds with dairymen according to their strategies to meet their goals. Just wanted to walk through this with you guys today and kind of open the discussion. If there's any questions, feel free to ask any of your reps, any of your SRS, SMS team members, anybody here at the office. We are happy to work through this tool with you and work with your herd. That is our passion. We wake up every day wanting to work with you guys as dairymen. That is our job. We're happy to do so.